Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacqueline. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacqueline at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV, and hello to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, and our show today is Talking Heads. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. You are certainly in for a treat. The Talking Heads platform is based on experts coming from around the world. They have their own 30-minute show, and they share their wisdom, knowledge, and expertise with us to help make us better personally and professionally. Our talking head today is Mr. Roland Friedl. He is what I call the trifecta here at USA Global TV. He is not only a talking head expert, he is a co-host, and he's an elevated listener. And what this all means is that this is a genuine, authentic person who really cares about other people. He leads his life with his heart, and he really is here to support others and help. Let's welcome him to the show, Mr. Roland Friedl.
Hello, Dr. Jacqueline. Thank you for having me again here.
Hi, welcome to your show. I'm excited for your lesson this week. So I'm going to put up your deck and I'll be backstage. I'll join you at the end.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining again at this Talking Head expert panel. And I'm very happy to continue with you the journey. For those who are a new one, hello. And welcome. I hope you will enjoy it too. And it's also, you get some insights for the next 25 to 30 minutes. My name is Roland Friedl. I'm originally born in Austria, a small country in the middle of Europe. And I'm broadcasting right now from my home base that I will live on Thursday on this beautiful island of Mallorca. And I'm the founder of a company. It's called Sparta Performance Systems. We are based in Switzerland, and we have a multinational team serving companies and organizations to leaders in many languages and many topics. And today, we continue the journey of increasing your leadership performance by smart planning and effective team communications. And if you missed the first 5 episodes, please go on the YouTube channel, USA Global TV Talking Heads, Roland Friedl, you will find them. And this Talking Head episode is about giving a meaningful feedback. So it's all about reviewing and feedback process because it's so important to give appropriate, meaningful feedback to your team members. And those who already saw the first, second, or even all 5 shows before, they know exactly how we do this. I always do it in what I call the format system. We will talk first about shortly why it is so important to give a meaningful feedback, then what is a meaningful feedback, how we are doing it, and then we talk about the future, meaning what if you adapt this to make it work for you and your team and your organization. Okay, so let's start if you okay. So first of all, why is it so important? The point is there's a poll done by thousands of staff members and thousands of managers. And the managers have been asked, well, do you think your staff needs to stay in your company? And we all know that it's, especially when you're running your own business or when you're in charge for a team and a multinational, international, or even a startup company, it gets more and more difficult to get talents, get good staff, to bind them and develop them and lead them good, because I strongly believe the future is for those companies who have the best talents on board. So in this poll, the managers have been asked, what do you think your staff needs mostly to stay, be happy and motivated? And then the staff was asked, and it was interesting that the answers were totally different ones. So I can tell you, leaders, what this for the staff is most important. And number one was, of course, it was important to get a good salary, to have a nice boss, and We all know that when people are quitting their job, they're leaving the corporate world, moving to somewhere else, it's mostly because of their boss. They're not happy about the leadership and the treatment they get. So they need this, they need a good working environment, stuff like that. But number one, the first reason why they all want to know, where do we go? Where is the journey going through? So they want to know about the vision, about the goals that the company, the organization, and you have. And then on number two, and that's what the topic today is, they want to have a proper feedback. They want to know exactly how good is their contribution to the whole team effort to reach this goal. And I guess every team member really deserves an honest feedback, as knowing how well his or her performance contributes to the overall performance of the team. And this is very, very essential for his and her motivation. So that's why it is important, giving a proper feedback, letting them know how good is their performance. It can be a positive feedback or negative feedback, meaning they are reaching their goals, they're reaching your expectations, but it can also be what I call a negative feedback. But actually, it's not a negative feedback, it's a learning feedback. If they don't meet the expectation, if they don't reach their goals, they can learn something from you. And as we learned in episode number 4, it's so important that you give not only leadership, but also you also act as a coach for your team and take your time and really develop your team members. And as I said in the beginning today, it's the futures for those who really not only find good talents, but also bind them to the team and the company, not lose them. Okay, so it's very important to give them a good and proper feedback. So what is a good and proper feedback? First of all, we always do it one-on-one, never in a group, not in a good or bad one, never in a group. We always do it one-to-one, and we do it as soon as possible. So when there is a good job done, do it right now, whenever it's possible. Don't wait too long. And very, very important, the same if somebody's not behaving well or not performing well, give the feedback one-to-one as soon as possible. Don't wait too long. Most leaders are, from my experience, in 3.5 decades of coaching and advising consulting companies, is that most leaders don't say in the beginning something. There are small mistakes. Mistakes are more and more and more. They don't say something. They're waiting. Maybe they don't have time because they're so busy with their operational stuff. And at the end, they explode and just start screaming and shouting. And this doesn't make sense at all. So please take your time, not only for preparing good meetings, but also take your time for preparing a good feedback, a quality feedback, because every team member deserves it. So how we are doing this? And I will show you a structure. And for those of you who already joined the previous episodes, they know exactly that as a manager's leader, we have 2 roles. We have the leadership roles, where we are responsible for reaching company goals, but we also have a coaching roles where we are responsible to coach and develop our staff. Because we, as leaders, we only can reach our goals in a team effort. Yeah, we need a team, we need a proper team to reach our goals. So it's not only very important for yourself that you know in which role are you acting or talking to your new team members. It's also very important for your team members that they know and recognize, okay, my boss now is in a leader role, he has a leader hat on, or my boss has a coaching hat on. That's very important too. So we split this. I give you a clear structure that helps you and your team members to realize, okay, now he is in a monologue, he's leading, and now he's switching to the coaching part. Okay, so let's start. And for those who already saw the episode number 4, effective team meetings, you will realize that it has the same structure and there are some additional steps. It starts with anticipation. I will talk to this later if it's okay for you. So we always start with the vision. Okay, the vision is always the benchmark. What is our vision, our goal? And we always repeat this and repeat it. And sometimes leaders ask me, how often do I mention my vision, my goal? I said, every moment. Because this is what drives the team, the organization. What is your vision? What's your goal? Where are we heading to? Where is the journey going to? always, always, always. Okay, we always repeat it. So we start with vision. Okay, so clarifying this is my vision. Then we repeat our expectations that we have to every team member. Our expectations we have to our team members so we can reach these goals as a team. And then we talk about our positive emotions. So it's the same like the effective team meeting to start. Okay, so we tell our team our positive emotions, and then we give feedback. If it's a good one, we say, "Hey, it's a good. Thank you for your contribution. You performed it really out. My benchmark was there, and you did 100% or 110%, even better." Or maybe you give this person a negative feedback, or what I say, learning feedback a few weeks ago, and now this person was increasing and performing better. There's okay, hey, last time you reached 50% of my expectation, yet now you're on 70%. So congratulations, you're on a good way, you're on a good journey. So keep going, keep going. So we talk about the feedback, and when we talk about a negative feedback, so we will also talk and about our negative emotions. This is very important. So just to get a clear understanding, we talk about our vision, where we want to go, which goals we want to meet as a team. Then we talk about the expectations, what we have for each team member to reach these goals, what we are claiming for. And then we communicate our positive emotions. And okay, when we reach this goal, for example, I'm very proud of the team, or I'm very happy, whatever emotions comes up. When you see this reaching this goal, what emotion do you have? Okay, I'm very happy about, I'm very proud of the team, whatever it is. So, but you also have to communicate your negative emotion when somebody is not performing. Like, for example, hey, John, this really makes me angry, or this disappoints me, or whatever it is. So take a second or so, go, what emotion comes up when you think about John is not performing well, or Linda's not performing well as you expected? Okay, what emotions come in? And communicate this emotion without making the other person responsible. Just talk about your emotion you're having. This is just real life, okay? Talk about it. It's very, very important. And then you will have this, it's not imbalanced. So your team member will say, okay, this emotion my leader has when I reach the goal, and this emotion he has, negative emotion he has when we don't reach the goal. It's out of balance. So, okay, I have to hurry up and improve my performance so my boss is happy again, or proud, or whatever. Okay, so, and this is just a monologue, okay? And then we switch later in the dialogue in the coaching session. Okay, just to repeat it. This is always the start, we always start with our positive vision of our goal. Okay, so we want to become the fastest growing startup in our industry, or we want to be recognized the most friendly company in our area. We want to be the number one, or we want to, whatever it is. Okay, so your vision. Then you think about what expectations do we have to each team member to reach these goals. So you clarify your expectation, communicate this. My expectations are, and you set the benchmark as a leader. You have to think about what's the benchmark. When are your expectations met by your team member? Where's your benchmark? You decide this. And then you communicate the positive emotion you have when the team is reaching the goal together. That's the baseline. So, and then, for example, John is sitting in front of you and he's not performing very well in a certain topic, in a certain expectation. I say, hey, John, I have to give you feedback. We have been talking about, for example, in sales, that you will make 2 calls or 3 calls a day. So on a five Monday to Friday, we have 15 calls a week. And now I see in the records you only do 6 to 7 calls. So you're not meeting my expectations like other team members do. And to be honest, this really upsets me. So I communicate my negative emotion, or you can say, I'm really disappointed as you, John, because you're a senior salesperson here, you're a senior sales accountant, and you're not high performing. This really disappoints me. Okay, so that's the first step. And then we change our head from the leader's head to the coaching head, and we start now in a dialogue. And we ask the question of understanding, like we do in the team meeting. Say, hey, John, what exactly I'm expecting from you? And hopefully John will say, okay, I do a minimum of 3 calls a day, meaning a minimum of 15 calls a week. Okay, cool, you understand it. And then I ask the action question. I say, John, how are you doing this? Well, I pick up the call, I pick up the phone, I call a client, I introduce myself, and I start with a cool elevator pitch so I get the full attention of my client so we can make an appointment. Okay, cool, thanks. And then I ask the motivation question. Why do you want to do it? What drives you? I say, yeah, when I have more calls, I can make more sales, I get more commission. Or he will say, yeah, I want to make you happy and you're not bothering me anymore with your feedbacks, or whatever it is. So ask this person what motivates you. And then you, at the end, you just summarize and say, okay, John, can we commit? So we find a commitment. You're going to, starting tomorrow, you're going to have 3 calls, 3 new customer calls a day, meaning 15 a week minimum. Can we commit to this? Okay. So how about when we meet, let's meet in next month, and then we do a review process. Okay, is this okay for you? Good. So this is how we do a proper feedback. That's the structure. As I said in the beginning, we can have an anticipation. What does this mean? It can mean, for example, Chan is a person. I say, some salespeople are really divas. They're performing very, very well, reaching the goals, and then just make a pause, and then motivate business. Okay, I reached already 100%. By mid of the year, and the next 6 months, I'm just hanging around or something, whatever. So anticipation means there are some people, when you give them feedback, they try to avoid. So it can make sense, for example, that you start with anticipation, say, John, we are not talking about the success you had the last 3 years. We talked today about that. I said the goal of our department, of our sales department, is that we become number 1 in the area, highly recommended by our happy customers as the most friendly and most successful and most caring business in this area. And my expectation is that everyone in the team makes at least 3 new customer calls every day, meaning 15 by the end of the week. And when we do this, we will, of course, not only gain market shares, but we do this in a proper way, friendly, elevated listener, listening to our clients, listening to our needs of our clients, helping them, giving the best information, giving the best service, the best product. Then this happy customer will also recommend us to other customers. And when we reach this goal, I will be very, very proud of each team member of you. So, John, I have to say, and as I mentioned before, we're not talking about the last 3 years. We're just talking about the last 2 months. And I saw on the records that you're not doing 3 calls, meaning 15 a week. You're only doing 6 to 7 a week. And to be honest, this is not my expectations. I have high expectations, as I mentioned in the team meeting. And to be honest, John, this really disappoints me, especially on you as a senior salesperson. John, what exactly are my expectations? And then John is answering, hopefully the proper one. If not, I will tell him 15 calls a week. Okay, John, how will you do this? So I do my action question. John is repeating, okay, what he's exactly doing, how he gets the appointment, how he's finding the time to do this, and so on. And then I will say, okay, John, why you want to do this? What drives you? And then John is giving me his motive. Why is the motive question so important? Because to be clear, the vision in the beginning that you communicate as a leader is your vision and not your team member's vision. You have to be very realistic. So each team member has to find his or her own motivation why she or he will perform the way you expect them. And then you, at the end, you summarize it with the commitment and say, okay, John, can we commit that you are starting as a role model, as a senior executive, salesperson or key account or whatever title the person has, 15 calls a week, meaning 3 calls a day, every day, to get new appointments, and we'll meet again, let's say in 6 or 8 weeks, and then we have another review process, and hopefully it's improving. That's all it is about feedback. Why we do this? We do this because we want to use each communication with our team members as a learning experience for our team members. That's why we're asking this question. And maybe you joined already episode number 5. If not so, please go on YouTube and listen to episode number 5, where I was talking about different leadership styles. Why is it so important? Because as we said in episode 5, every team member needs a different leadership style, And every team member needs a different leader style on every different task, because their development, their improvement is different in topics. So how do you know about the leadership style that is appropriate for each team member on each topic? Is by the quality of the answers you get from these questions, from this understanding question. Does your team member understand what you are expecting? And also by the quality you get from the action question. Does your team member how to do it? And by the why question, by the motive question, does your team member exactly know why to do so? Why to do it this way? Okay, this is so important. And when you follow the structure, you have more clarity about the level of development of each team member. You have more clarity. Your team member has much more clarity. He and she knows exactly what you're expecting. They know exactly how to do it and why they should do it. They find their own motivation. And this is so important. Having a happy team member, knowing the direction and knowing the feedback, how their contribution is. It's not a rocket science, but it's all about being clear about yourself, about your role. Are you acting and behaving and communicate as a leader, or as you acting, behaving, communicating as a coach? So always be clear. You have two different roles, two different hats on. Be clear and be prepared which hat you have on, because your team member has to know, my boss is not talking as a leader, or my boss is not talking and supportive as a coach. These are two different roles you have to fill. And it's, as I said in previous episodes, it's so important, your team member, because when you communicate as a leader and behave like a leader, but you want to act like a coach, then the people don't trust you. If you talk and behave like a coach, but you want to come over as a leader, then people don't take you for full and serious. Okay, so be very clear in which role you are, which hat you have on. And maybe in the beginning you can say, hey, John, now I'm talking to you as your boss, and now I'm talking to you as a coach. Maybe you can also address this directly. It's a practical experience for you, and it's also a practical experience for your team members. That, okay, now my boss is talking as a boss. He's in a monologue. He gives me the direction. He tells me exactly what he's expecting. He tells me his emotions when we reach his goals. He's giving me a clear feedback. Did I reach his expectation, or how far I'm away on the benchmark he set, and about his negative emotion that was triggered. And then he's helping me to understand what he wants exactly, what he's expecting. Then he helps me to find out how to do it. And maybe maybe I got it, or if I don't get it, maybe he can support me, or a colleague can support me, or maybe he will send me to a training like Sparta Performance Systems, who will help me, whatever. And also I have to find out my own motivation, why I stand up every morning and do my best to contribute to the team effort. And then we close the commitment. And then I go back to my work motivated, because I know that my boss is helping me with the feedback, not because he wants to annoy me, but he knows that I'm a very, very important team member, like everyone else in the team. And I know that my boss' job is to support me, to help me, to coach me, to become a better version of myself. What is also very important, not only for the team contribution, not only for the organization, not only that the client is happy. It's also about my own career. Think about that. For the team members, also about when they get better every day, become a better version, develop, learn more skills, be more enthusiastic, be more motivated. It's also much better for their career plan. Hopefully they have one. Okay. So it's a win-win situation for everyone when you as a team leader have a clear structure, be clearly prepared, and give an honest, meaningful feedback. As I said in the beginning, because each team member really deserves it. And when you think about your own career and your boss you had in previous jobs, did you always get a feedback? Did you miss it? How did you feel when you got one? Was it really meaningful? Was it really honest? Did you learn something from the feedback? Yeah, okay. So now it's your time. You are the boss now. You're the leader now. Make the best out of it and really support your team, because we all know at the end of the day, we're only successful when we have a good performing aligned team that stands strong behind you as a leader. And they only will accept you as a leader when you give them a clear direction, when you communicate very, very clearly what your expectations are, and when you are very open-minded, talk about your emotion, tell them what makes you happy, and tell them when you're upset. We are all human beings. And then help them by asking intelligent question, by question of understanding, action question, motive question, and make sure if they all understand exactly what you expect and all know exactly how to do it, and all they know why they are doing it. And at the end of the day, you will be a successful leader with a successful team. Okay, that's how we do it. If you need support on that, on preparation time, because I know that's really, it's all at the end of the day, it's all about practicing. Yeah, practicing. You will need some time to practice. Your team members also will need some time and said, oh, my boss is having a new methodology about leading us, about giving. They also need time to adapt on this. So if you need any help, don't hesitate to contact us, and we're more than happy to support you on this. Okay. So review and feedback process. What if I adapt this to make it happen for me and my team? And as I mentioned before, it's all about practicing, right? Everything in a muscle. When you go to the gym, you want to gain muscle. It's all about practicing. When you become a better version of yourself, whatever this is, an artist or musician, a better writer, a better parent, a better father, whatever it is. It's about practicing, taking time. And it's so important. And I really emphasize this because it's really critical to understand, because we have a totally change in the economy. And we change from an employer market to an employee market. So it's harder to find good talents. People are more independent, especially when we're with this pandemic. The last 2 years, we all experienced, we're working mostly remotely. So to find the right talents is tough. To get them on board is tough, but believe me, it's really tougher to lose them. And everyone knows losing them really costs you money, because you invested in this person, time, money, energy, and maybe they're going to your competitors or whatever. So do your best as a leader and really take the time to support and coach your team members, so you not only have them on board, that you bind them and help them to develop a good career plan, and then you will have a good future. Thank you very much for your listening to me. And when you have a question, as I mentioned, don't hesitate to contact me on my main website. My name is rolandfriedl.com. I will spell it for you, ROLANDFRIEDL.com. My team and myself, we can not only help you in my mother language in German. I have native speakers in English, in French, in Spanish, in Italian, in Portuguese, in classical Arab, in Polish, so in different languages. We can help you all over the world with our more than 35 years of experience. Thank you so much for listening. And if you love this show, if you like the content, if you're inside, I would love to recommend you to other business friends you have all over the places. Thank you so much, and see you soon.
Excellent job. Thank you. I was really listening to what you were saying and thinking about my corporate career, and when I received feedback and when I didn't receive feedback. And today, doing what I'm doing, I'm in a position to give people feedback, guests, co-hosts, etc. And it's interesting being on the other side of it. And I feel like what I learned from when I was the one waiting for feedback, hoping to get feedback, when I didn't get it, I felt like I wasn't important, or what I was doing wasn't really valued. So I hope people take away from your presentation, it's extremely important to give that feedback. And you'd be surprised how it can change a person's behavior if they're receptive to it. And maybe they're not doing well in their career, they're not making the right number of calls, and now you're letting them know, hey, this is the expectation. I want you here with me, but you have to do what's required, and what can I do to help?
Absolutely. And I think, especially when a team member is performing good or outstanding, not just tell him, hey, it was cool, thank you. Just tell him what he or she did good. So they have to understand. They give them a clear feedback. Not saying, hey, it was good, here's a cookie. You're like, mom is giving you a cookie because you have been nice in school. No, really gifting a meaningful feedback by saying, okay, this is the goal. This is my expectation when I met it, and you really met it, and thank you so much, and how can I support you? And give it an honest, a deep feedback, not just saying, hey, well done. Explain them exactly what they have done and why you appreciate it. And the other way around, when you give a negative feedback, I call it a learning feedback. Tell them exactly what went wrong and how they can improve, and asking this coaching question and help them.
I agree with that. I always think that it's important to celebrate what we're doing right and acknowledge the person and then provide feedback. So when someone feels that they're never doing the right thing, they're not doing a good job, they're not meeting their numbers, if it's just negative, 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 it's going to be difficult to get that person to embrace the feedback and then change their behavior. So there are definitely things to celebrate, no matter how small they are. And I encourage people, whether you're in a leadership position or not, it just day to day, people in any kind of relationship celebrate those wonderful qualities and connections, skills, communication, and then bring in the feedback in a constructive
Absolutely.
way.
Absolutely. I remember, 27 years when I was founding an international company with thousands and thousands of people around the globe. And I was, some people really say I'm so a crazy boss because every team member who got the first client, we have been celebrating a party like crazy. And I said, this is the greatest success you will ever have in a company. And I said, what the fuck are you telling me? I said, yeah, because when you found one client, you will find two. When you have two, you will find five, you will find 10. Just keep going. And at the end of the year, you'll have hundreds and maybe you will have thousands. The first one is the most important thing because it shows you're doing the right stuff. And then you just repeat and repeat it. Yeah. Celebrate the small successes. That's absolutely important.
Roland, I have a question for you because I actually was reading an article somewhere about this, that if an organization is solely focused on sales, they're not going to be around for too long. So if you work in an organization right now, or if you're leading an organization where your entire focus to your team over and over drilling into their head is about the numbers, about the numbers, about the sales, how effective is that in terms of driving behavior change to get people motivated if you're always giving negative feedback?
Well, as I mentioned in episode 4, yeah, when you're running a team meeting, especially when you're a sales-driven organization, figures are not sexy. Okay, figures are not sexy. But everyone wants to be part of a winning team. So find a vision, a picture. Uh, like, I don't know, we want to reach the Mount Everest to be first, or we want to do this. Find a sexy picture that attracts everyone. So be aware about your team members, what are they interested in. I mean, when nobody is likes hiking tours, don't talk about Mount Everest. Maybe you say, hey, we are sailing across the globe. When you have some team members who hate water, maybe it's not a good example. So learn about your team members, what are interesting, and then find an attractive goal. And because figures are not sexy. When you say, hey, we want to do 5 millions, well, yeah, okay, yeah, but it's not their 5 millions, it's the company 5 million. So find an attractive goal and a vision that everyone wants to be part of it. And I know everyone wants to be part of a winning team. So find something attractive and motivate them by them. And as also said, never ever start a meeting with negative news. Because, when the last quarter was bad, you don't have to repeat it. Everybody knows that it was bad. Yeah. When the economy is bad, everybody knows it. Always start with your positive picture, with a positive vision. Yeah. It's all about showtime. Of course, the negative stuff. Yeah, we noted, but not in a meeting, because you want to inspire them, you want to encourage them. It's also important. Stay positive.
I agree with that. We discussed that before, and I can remember Monday morning sales team meetings. This was bad. That was bad. You're thinking, why did I even come to work today? It's just like nobody wants to hear. Everyone's aware of what's going on. If you're not aware, I don't know what you're doing. But to your point, it's obvious. So what can we do differently so that we're not in this position again?
By not leading by results, by figures, leading by action. So I was never leading my team and say, okay, I want you to have 10,000 a day on sales or 100,000 by the end of the month. I was always leading by action. And I said, okay, I want you to do so and so many calls. I want you to do so and so many meetings, because I know everybody can do this. Even the worst team member can do this. He has to just make more calls. I give you an example. When my expectations is you have 10 meetings every week. So a good one maybe needs 10 phone calls or 15 phone calls. Those who are not so good on the phone, maybe they need 20 or 30 phone calls. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any difference. If you're not good in calling, make more calls, and then you will reach the goal. So I was always leading my team and coaching my team by action. Everybody can do this. But I was never leading by results, because with results, there was always excuses. Yes, I know, but the market is difficult. Competition has a better price. My customer has no budget. There are always excuses. But there are no excuses when you lead by action. Everybody can make 10 or 15 calls. Make more. Pick up the phone. You just switch off the light in the office when you reach your goals. So I was always leading by action, never by figures and results. Never ever. Because I know exactly how many phone calls they have to make an average to get the appointments, and I know how many appointments they have to close a deal. And when you notice it as a leader, lead by action, never by figures, never ever. It's frustrating.
And I think also in terms of feedback, in that example that you just gave, if someone's not making the calls, sit them down and have an open conversation. Hey, Bill, I noticed that you're not making the number of expected calls. What can we do to help? Well, I get rejected every time I call. People hang up on me. There's always some explanation, quote, or excuse. Maybe it is that they don't have the confidence, they don't have the training, whatever it might be. And that might be a key point to determine, is this a good fit for that person? So I think many times going that extra step and having that question and an answer period, not about why, because why puts blame. Why didn't you get the numbers? It's like, oh, what can we do to help? Yeah, excuses. Yeah. So I think feedback is vitally critical. And as I mentioned before, I'm in a position now where I'm giving feedback. And first, it was very uncomfortable. But one thing I think is also kind of cool, and I did this in my corporate role, I would say, I welcome feedback. I would love to hear feedback from you, because then I know you care and you're interested, and I'm letting you know I'm open to the feedback. When someone says that to me today, I have so much respect for them, because they want to learn and grow.
Yeah. But the point is, especially when you get a negative feedback, what I call it a learning feedback, is, to be honest, it doesn't feel good. I remember my career, it doesn't feel good, but then you have to make a choice. You are upset with your boss and said, hey, he doesn't love me anymore. Or you said, hey, I take this as a chance to improve, get better, and I just ask for help. How can I perform better? I need some help. It's always about choices, And it doesn't feel good when you say somebody you're not performing well. It doesn't feel good, but it's all about choices and learning from something. And the point is, I think what I learned from my own company I was running with people, and from all the international companies are supporting and consulting and coaching, is people are not performing because they're lazy, because everybody starts, I guess the majority starts a new job very, very excited, very, very motivated. So they're not performing because they're lazy. They're not performing because they are afraid to do it wrong, to make mistakes. So if you see somebody not performing, be clear about where it's coming from. And I call it the triangle. It's about, is it skill, missing of skill? Is it the mindset that they didn't understand exactly what they're expecting? Or is it the structure that they don't know how to start and where to start? So always be aware about that. There is no lazy people. They just need support and help. And it's your damn job as a leader to help them. And I always say, there's no bad staff. There's only bad leadership. That's my opinion.
All right, well said. On that note, we're going to wrap up for today. And I look forward to your next set of Talking Heads episodes. And for those of you who are not aware, you haven't heard the news, Roland is hitting the road and he's going to be in his RV traveling around that wireless rocks life, and he'll be broadcasting from various places in the world. I'm excited to get the updates. Maybe you can actually do a little film of where you are. We can show it during the shows.
I will. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. I was always traveling all the time, but my base for the last 14 years was this beautiful island in Spain. And yeah, I want to I want to travel more, especially more in Europe. And I want to also be closer to my clients. That's why I'm moving to my RV and I travel around, not just only for pleasure, of course, for pleasure too, because the job I'm doing, for me, it's just pleasure. I'm just passionate. I'm so driven about it. So it's a pleasure for me to work with my clients. But of course, I will also have time to recover on the most beautiful places in Europe. But yeah, I'm traveling in my RV and work from my RV. I will also have face-to-face clients and workshops on the road, but also virtual stuff. And I'm very looking forward to that. And I'm also very looking forward to the next Talking Head show. Maybe I can give you a short pre-show. We will talk about control of attention. So how to perform under pressure. Where do you set your control? Where is your control? Yes,
All
control
right.
of attention.
And Roland, while I have you on Spotlight, if you could please share with our audience if they want to join your men's group or they want to work with you in any of these areas that you are sharing, what's the best way for someone to reach out to you? And is there anything specific that you're looking for when you are welcoming people onto your platform?
Okay. Thank you. Sure. Yeah, some people know I have so many experience because I'm so eager to learn and to become a better version of myself. And even as some people call me an expert, I always see me as still as a student. I'm still learning, but I have so many interests, and I'm reading a lot. I'm churning a lot of workshops myself to become a better version, a better coach. And so I have different topics. So I have one main website where I combined all these topics. This is just my name. It's rolandfriedl.com. And you learn about me a little bit. And then when you're leading an organization, you want to develop your organization, your leadership, your stuff. From there, you can click on SBS, on Spartan Performance Systems, and then you will be linked to what I say professionally, maybe it's the wrong word because all websites are professionally done by an amazing Sam and his team. No, and then you will come to Spartan Performance Systems, where my team and myself focus on developing international organizations, mid-size, small size, large international one. We have a lot of, you will see our clients, really big companies, but also the supporting startups companies. When you are interested in what I call a wireless life, being an independent free person, living and working from the most beautiful place in the world, and this can be your garden. It don't have to be Bali, or it don't have to be Mexico. It can be your garden, or it can be a lake in the neighborhood, or your favorite cafe, whatever. So if you want to have a more wireless life, an independent life, you maybe you're in your 40s or 50s. Is this all about maybe want to leave corporate world and start my own company or do something different? Maybe moving and go into another country, another place. I have a lot of experience that because I'm moving all the time. I love this, as I mentioned before. So my team and myself are more than happy to support you there and guide you there if you want. And especially when you're a man, and you want to learn about yourself more, or if you're a girl and want your partner to become a better version of yourself, a better man, then join us in our men's group. And they will link there on Sparring for Men. This is a platform where we meet twice a week. We have twice a week a US group and twice a week a European group where we meet as a man and discuss different topics. We have guest speakers and we talk about ourselves and open ourselves, our hearts in a safe environment. That's what we do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roland. I really appreciate you being here and adding so much value to this platform. And next week, you will not be in Mallorca. So I look forward to wherever it is you are and whomever it is we have as our guest for our show, The Mallorca Connection. It's always a great opportunity for people to learn.
Absolutely. Yeah. And to be honest, I have to thank you, Dr. Jacqueline, as the founder of US Global TV, to give not only myself, but all the other experts the opportunity to share the expertise and wisdom and spread positive information and positive knowledge to the world, because it's all about sharing and caring, and this makes us a better world, and it starts all with ourselves. And thank you so much for this opportunity and really starting this platform. Thank you.
Thank you. I know it takes a lot of time and effort to prepare these lessons, and I just want to acknowledge that I really appreciate you, Roland.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I look forward to seeing you next week, and I'll chat with you tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you so much, everyone, for being part of this platform. We continue to grow. I also want to thank, I think it was close to 1,000 people who reached out to me for my birthday, and I am getting back to you, each and every one. It's going to take time, but it just goes to show, many of you told me how much this platform means to you, and the fact that we are welcoming people from all over the world. It's just truly a joy, and I'm so grateful to people like Roland and each and every one of you who follow our shows, who are subscribing to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV. If you'd like to be a guest on any of our shows, you can go to our website, which is usaglobaltv.com, book your session. All right, that's all we have for today for our shows. We're going to close out with a couple of clips, and we'll look forward to seeing you again tomorrow when we've got a full day of broadcasting. If you're joining us for the first time, this week we have 25 live shows. We typically have around 20, and we are bringing more new shows out. So also, if you're interested in being a talking head, you can contact me directly. It is by invitation only. You can apply, and I'll put the contact information here in the comments. All right, thanks again. We'll see you tomorrow.
Take a moment.
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 So I've had the privilege of photographing some incredible people over the years, and during each shoot I've asked the subject to close their eyes and take themselves to a peaceful place just for a few seconds. I've found that this really helps to refresh the energy between the camera and the subject. They had an energy that was quite special and quite different from the rest of the shoot. The collection grew, and now it feels the right time to use it for something good. I think it'd be amazing if we could help to raise awareness and involve people in the discussion about mental health. So what we're asking to do is for everyone to upload their own self-portraits. All of these portraits will become part of a massive artwork. I'm really excited to see this project go from hundreds of pictures to thousands of pictures. Essentially, an ever-evolving artwork that says we're all in this together.
Close your eyes and take a moment.